If you're holding a handful of Washington quarters, you might just be holding a tiny treasure. These seemingly ordinary coins, minted decades ago, can carry stories of rarity, historical shifts, and even serious value among collectors. But how do you tell which quarter is worth more than just 25 cents? The secret lies in the details: mint years, condition, errors, and hidden symbols. From coin shops to auctions, the value of these quarters can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. Whether you're new to numismatics or a curious enthusiast, this deep dive into some of the most talked about Washington quarters will open your eyes to what might be hiding in your pocket change. The 1965 Washington quarter marked a critical turning point in the history of U.S. coinage. Before 1965, quarters were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, making them not only functional currency, but also valuable for their metal content. However, the Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. The U.S. Mint made this move due to rising silver prices, which led to mass hoarding of coins and fears of a nationwide coin shortage. Collectors are particularly fascinated with 1965 quarters struck on leftover silver planchets, an error that occurred during the transition. These are considered transitional errors and are exceedingly rare. A genuine 1965 silver quarter will weigh closer to 6.25 grams and lack the copper-colored edge that characterizes clad coins. Confirming such an error can net you hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if verified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Another interesting detail about the 1965 quarter is the lack of any mint mark. From 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint decided to remove all mint marks from coins to reduce collector speculation and coin hoarding. So, regardless of whether your 1965 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it will not bear a mint mark. From 1965 to 1967, traditional proof sets were temporarily discontinued and replaced with SMS coins. These sets were made with extra care, using polished dies and special handling methods to produce sharper-than-average strikes with semi-proof-like qualities. SMS quarters are known for their eye appeal and are sought after by collectors looking for the best examples from those years. In addition to condition, die varieties and minting errors also enhance a coin's desirability. While the 1965 quarter isn't known for any major double die errors, minor varieties do exist. These include die chips, repunched mint marks, only seen on proof dies carried over into SMS production, and subtle doubling on letters or digits. Though these varieties may not bring huge premiums individually, they add intrigue to any collection. Clip planchets, off-center strikes, and broad-struck errors have also been discovered among 1965 quarters. A clipped planchet error, for instance, occurs when a portion of the coin's metal blank is missing, creating a curved or straight cut along the coin's edge. These typically range in value from $25 to $150, depending on severity. Off-center strikes, especially those that retain visible dates, can sell from $50 to $200 plus. The 1965 Washington quarter is also popular for educational purposes. It's often used to teach about the history of coinage reform and the broader economic landscape of the 1960s. Schools, museums, and financial education programs frequently include this coin as an example of how material scarcity can shape government policy. Despite its massive mintage, the average circulated 1965 quarter is still worth just its face value. However, the exceptions, silver planchet errors, high-grade mint state coins, SMS gems, and rare varieties, make this date one of the most hunted by modern collectors. And with interest in 20th century American coinage growing, demand for well-preserved examples continues to rise. In fact, one of the reasons collectors start their Washington quarter set with 1965 is affordability. Pre-1965 silver quarters are increasingly hard to find without spending a premium. In contrast, clad quarters like the 1965 issue can be found in circulation at coin shops or online marketplaces at modest prices, unless, of course, you stumble upon one of those rare silver errors. For beginner collectors, building a Washington quarter set starting from 1965 offers an excellent introduction to numismatics. It allows for a balance of historical value, design consistency, and exciting discovery. The thrill of hunting for a high-grade SMS coin, a unique die variety, or even a silver transitional error adds layers of engagement beyond just coin ownership. From a design perspective, the 1965 quarter retained the familiar look sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932. Washington's profile on the obverse and the powerful eagle on the reverse remained unchanged for decades, offering a thread of visual continuity that makes subtle changes, like composition shifts, all the more notable to collectors. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter is more than a common coin. It represents a pivotal change in the fabric of American currency. With fascinating transitional errors, unique SMS strikes, and affordable entry points for collectors, this coin continues to stand out as one of the most important modern issues in U.S. coinage history. Whether you're searching for a hidden rarity or assembling a high-grade collection, next up, 1967 Washington $quarter coin. The humble quarter in your pocket might just be a silent witness to history, a coin that traveled through time, commerce, and countless hands, all while carrying untold stories. The 1967 Washington quarter isn't just another piece of American change, it's part of a transitional era that reshaped modern coinage. These coins, struck during a period of experimentation and change, reflect the evolving priorities of a nation. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone new to numismatics, learning the subtle differences in this 1967 issue could help you uncover surprising value, rare variants, and historical gems hiding in plain sight. The 1967 Washington quarter followed on the heels of a monumental change in American coinage, the complete removal of silver. Sparked by the Coinage Act of 1965, quarters minted in 1967 were composed of a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, 75% copper and 25% nickel, on the outside. This composition was introduced to combat the hoarding of silver coins, which had caused a national coin shortage. As a result, the U.S. Mint turned to more affordable and abundant metals, ushering in a new era for American currency. In 1967, just like 1965 and 1966, all quarters were minted without any mint mark. This was part of a temporary policy aimed at discouraging collectors from targeting specific mint-produced coins. It also made coin hoarding less appealing to the general public, as they could no longer chase after Denver or San Francisco-specific mint marks during this transitional phase. Another notable feature of the 1967 quarter was the absence of proof coins for the public. Instead of producing traditional proof sets, the U.S. Mint issued special mint sets, SMS, from 1965 through 1967. These sets were meant to provide collectors with high-quality examples of coins, even though full-proof sets were temporarily halted. The SMS quarters were not struck to the same high standards as proof coins, but they were still significantly better than regular business strikes. These SMS coins offer sharper strikes, glossier surfaces, and a much more refined appearance overall. Among them, some specimens display deep cameo, DCM, or cameo contrast with frosted devices and mirror-like fields, traits especially prized by collectors. SMS coins graded SP66, SP67, or SP68 can fetch between $40 to over $500, depending on contrast and eye appeal. Those with deep cameo designation in high grades can command prices over $1,000. Despite the large-scale production of these coins, over 1.5 billion quarters were minted in 1967. Finding one in top-grade condition is still a challenge. Circulated examples are common and usually worth face value. However, coins in mint state 66 and higher, especially those from SMS sets, are relatively scarce and carry a premium in the numismatic market. The history behind the coin is just as fascinating as the coin itself. The United States was grappling with inflation, rising commodity prices, and a growing demand for metal-based money. As the economy adjusted, so did the mint's priorities, focusing more on quantity than precious content. The 1967 quarter is emblematic of this shift, a coin that served as the workhorse of American commerce while silently marking a historical transition in U.S. fiscal policy. Today, if you come across a circulated 1967 quarter, its value remains close to face. However, that changes dramatically if the coin shows signs of special characteristics, brilliant luster, an absence of wear, or even SMS-level quality. Collectors frequently purchase these coins to complete clad quarter sets, which start from 1965 and run to modern times. These sets offer an affordable yet rewarding introduction to coin collecting, especially for those interested in modern U.S. currency. On the resale market, Mint states 65 examples of the 1967 quarter typically fetch $10 to $20, while Mint states 66 coins can go for $40 to $80. Mint State 67 examples are rare and may bring in upwards of $200 to $400, particularly when slabbed by a respected grading service. Another reason collectors appreciate the 1967 quarter is its historical timing. The late 1960s were a turbulent period in American history. Civil rights movements, political shifts, and a changing economic landscape all played a role in shaping public policy. The coinage of the time, including this quarter, reflects a government effort to maintain stability in everyday commerce while responding to broader economic forces. For younger collectors, the 1967 quarter represents an ideal blend of accessibility and collectability. It's common enough to find but offers enough variations through SMS quality, errors, and rare transitional examples to keep things exciting. Additionally, the relatively low cost of entry makes it a perfect coin for teaching about minting processes, economic history, and the principles of supply and demand. To sum it up, the 1967 Washington quarter is more than a coin. It's a snapshot of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage. With no mint mark, clad composition, and a strong connection to the transitional policies of the 1960s, it stands out as an important issue for collectors of all levels. Next up, 1970 Washington $quarter coin. Every coin we carry has passed through thousands of hands, lived through decades of history, and maybe, just maybe, holds a story worth far more than its face value. The 1970 Washington quarter is a perfect example. It looks ordinary but hides incredible surprises. From ultra-rare errors that sell for tens of thousands to pristine condition coins bringing hundreds, this quarter is a treasure in disguise. If you've got a 1970 quarter, don't underestimate it. It could be the quiet sleeper coin every collector dreams of discovering. Let's dive into why this coin could be your next numismatic obsession. The 1970 Washington quarter sits at the tail end of a critical transition in U.S. coinage. Just 5 years earlier, silver was stripped from circulating quarters and replaced with a cost-effective copper-nickel clad composition. So by 1970, Americans were well used to the modern quarter's look and feel. A core of copper, sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel, giving it its iconic silvery appearance without a trace of silver. The 1970 Washington quarter was minted at 3 U.S. mints. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 136,420,000 coins. Denver Mint, D mint mark, 417,341,364 coins. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, used exclusively for proof coins. The real standout among the 1970 quarters is the 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 silver Canadian quarter planchet. Only a few of these extremely rare mint errors are known to exist. This error happened when a leftover Canadian planchet from World War II-era production got mixed into U.S. mint operations in San Francisco. If confirmed genuine, these coins have sold for up to $45,000 in auction. How can you identify one? The weight is slightly heavier than a regular clad quarter, around 5.83 grams versus 5.67. It will appear silver-like, but with subtle differences in tone. If magnified, faint remnants of the Canadian design underneath can sometimes be seen. These off-metal errors are one of the most thrilling parts of coin collecting, and yes, they can still be found, especially in old proof sets that have sat untouched for decades. Let's return to regular 1970 quarters for a moment. What are they worth? In circulated condition, they're generally worth face value. In uncirculated grades, MS65, MS67, they start to gain collector value. A 1970 Philadelphia quarter in MS67 can fetch up to $600. A 1970 D quarter in MS67 can be worth $300 to $500. These prices are due to the difficulty of finding high-quality, unmarked examples from business strikes. The U.S. Mint produced these coins rapidly and in massive numbers, often resulting in weak strikes, bag marks, and dull surfaces. Finding a well-struck, beautifully lustrous 1970 quarter is no easy feat. Strike quality and luster. Serious collectors look for coins with bold detail in Washington's hair, full eagle feathering on the reverse, strong rims with clearly struck lettering, brilliant, original luster and no distracting contact marks. Coins with these characteristics, especially when graded MS-66 or higher by PCGS or NGC, become valuable additions to a Washington quarter set. 1970 S-proof coins. Proof coins were only struck at the San Francisco Mint and were never meant for circulation. These coins feature sharp details and mirror-like finishes made with specially prepared dies. In 1970, the Mint produced 2.6 million proof sets. All included the 1970 S Washington quarter. Standard 1970 S proof quarters are generally worth between $2 and $10, but deep cameo examples, where frosted design elements contrast sharply with mirror fields, graded PR 69 DCAM, can command $75 to $125. Always beware of altered coins. Some scammers have tried to add S mint marks to business strike coins in hopes of selling fake rarities. Genuine proof quarters have a thick mirror finish. If the surface looks dull, it's likely not a real proof. Known error types from 1970 quarters. Besides the famous off-metal proof error, several other collectible errors are known from this year. Off-center strikes, partial images when the planchet isn't aligned properly. 10 to 20% off-center examples can sell for $50 to $150, more if the date is fully visible. Clip planchets, caused by planchet misfeeds, these coins appear to have a bite taken out of the edge. They typically range from $30 to $100. Collector interest and market trends. Interest in a 1970 quarter continues to grow as collectors of modern coins expand their sets beyond just silver dates. Era collectors, registry set builders, and variety hunters are all paying closer attention to this year. Its connection to the rare proof error and the overall challenge of finding high-grade specimens make it stand out in the non-silver era. Plus, with nearly 500 million struck at Denver alone, 1970 D quarters are still found in circulation. Next up, 1971 Washington $quarter coin. Coins often pass unnoticed through our hands, yet some carry unique historical and collectible value, hiding in plain sight. The 1971 Washington quarter is one such coin, a familiar face to millions, yet behind its everyday appearance lies a story of design legacy, minting processes, valuable errors, and high-grade rarity. It's more than just 25 cents. It's a snapshot of America's monetary transition during the early 1970s. With the right knowledge and a sharp eye, what seems ordinary could reveal hidden worth. So let's explore everything collectors and enthusiasts need know about the 1971 Washington $quarter. The 1971 quarter was minted using the standard copper-nickel-clad composition introduced in 1965, a pure copper core layered with copper-nickel alloy on both sides. Gone were the days of silver quarters, and by 1971, the public had fully adjusted to the new metallic appearance and feel of U.S. coins. This coin weighed 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and featured a reeded edge like all modern quarters. The coin retained John Flanagan's original 1932 obverse design of George Washington, showing a left-facing portrait with strong detail when freshly minted. On the reverse, the familiar heraldic eagle with spread wings sits atop a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. This design remained standard until 1998, when the U.S. Mint introduced the 50-state quarters program. The 1971 quarter was minted at 2 locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark mintage, over 258 million. Denver Mint, D mint mark mintage, approximately 258 million. Yes, you read that correctly. Both mints produce nearly the same quantity, which makes identifying valuable examples even more reliant on condition, error types, and special characteristics rather than rarity in production numbers alone. While these quarters are generally very common in circulation and carry little to no premium in worn condition, that changes dramatically in high grades. A circulated 1971 quarter is worth face value, but uncirculated specimens with no wear, especially those graded MS-66 or higher, can bring a strong premium in the collector market. A 1971 D Washington quarter in MS-67 condition can sell for $300 to $500, while the Philadelphia version in MS-67 can reach up to $700 depending on strike quality and luster. Why are these high grades so valuable? Because they're hard to find. The quarters from 1971 were mass-produced under high-speed minting conditions, often leading to weak strikes, dull luster, and bag marks from handling. Locating a pristine, sharply struck, and clean example from such a large mintage year is quite difficult, making these high-grade coins highly desirable among registry set collectors. Now let's talk errors and varieties, which are always a hot topic in the world of numismatics. The 1971 quarter offers several error types that can significantly raise its value. 1. Off-center strikes. These errors occur when the planchet isn't properly aligned with the dies. A 10 to 20% off-center strike can bring $50 to $150, while those with the date fully visible and a dramatic shift fetch even more. 2. Clip planchets. When a blanking die overlaps during punching, part of the planchet is missing. These errors can be worth $30 to $100 based on the severity of the clip. 3. Double dies. Though there are no major double die obverse recognized for 1971 quarters, minor doubling can still occur. Collectors search closely around the letters of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" for doubling signs. If verified, such coins can fetch a premium. For die cracks and cuds, overused dies can develop cracks that appear on the coin surface as raised lines. These minor errors may fetch modest premiums, $5 to $20, but are fun finds for error enthusiasts. Another area of value lies in full strike characteristics. Collectors appreciate coins with sharply defined design elements, particularly the hair detail on Washington's portrait, the eagle's feathers, strong rims and clear lettering. Coins with strong eye appeal, brilliant luster, and no contact marks can earn full strike designation and command higher prices, especially if slabbed by PCGS or NGC. For collectors who enjoy proof coins, you're out of luck with the 1971 quarter. There were no proof quarters struck in 1971 due to the mint's limited proof production only beginning again in 1973. However, there were no 1971 proof quarters, so any claim of one should be closely scrutinized for authenticity. There's a persistent rumor in coin circles about 1971 quarters accidentally struck on leftover 40% silver planchets used in Kennedy half dollars. Though this is extremely rare and unconfirmed officially for the quarter, collectors still occasionally weigh their 1971 quarters just in case. A silver-clad error would weigh around 5.75 grams instead of the usual 5.67 grams. Any examples showing that weight, especially if found in original rolls or mint sets, should be professionally examined. Next up, 1979 Washington quarter-dollar coin. Some coins hide in plain sight. You might hold one every day, flip it through your fingers, or drop it in a vending machine, never knowing it could be worth far more than 25 cents. The 1979 Washington quarter is one of those underestimated coins. While millions were minted, certain varieties, conditions, and minting mistakes have made some of these coins extremely valuable to collectors. From rare proof strikes to high-grade mint state examples, the 1979 quarter might just surprise you. And today, we're going to uncover all its secrets that could be hiding right in your pocket change. The 1979 Washington quarter follows the same classic design introduced in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan. On the obverse, you see the left-facing profile of George Washington with the words Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1979 at the bottom. The reverse carries the powerful image of a bald eagle standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing peace and strength. This coin was struck in copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core with a copper-nickel outer layer. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. 3 U.S. mints struck the 1979 quarter. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 515,708,000 coins. Denver Mint, D mint mark, 489,789,780 coins. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, for proof coins only, with 3,677,175 struck. Let's break down what makes each version of this coin special, or possibly valuable. 1979, Philadelphia, no mint mark. With over 500 million coins minted, the 1979 P is far from rare. In circulated condition, its value is 25 cents. But in mint state 65 or higher, things change dramatically. MS-65 coins are worth around $15 to $25. MS-66 examples sell for $40 to $60. MS-67 and above are scarce, often fetching $300 to $600. Why such high value at higher grades? Because in 1979, most quarters left the mint with rough surfaces, weak strikes, and poor luster. Finding one in superb condition, especially with strong strike detail on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, is quite challenging. 1979 D. Denver Mint. The Denver Mint struck nearly 490 million quarters. These coins bear a small D on the right side of the obverse, near Washington's ponytail. Like the Philly coin, circulated examples are common. In MS-65, they fetch $10 to $20. MS-66, MS-67 can range from $40 to $250. A top-graded MS-68 example can cross the $1,000 mark at auction. Collectors often seek Denver coins for complete mint mark sets, and high-grade specimens from 1979 are tough to find because of heavy bag marks and inconsistent strike quality. 1979 S. San Francisco Mint Proof Coins. These quarters were struck with special polished dies on high-quality planchets. They were never meant for circulation and were sold directly to collectors. Proof coins from 1979 are most commonly found in standard proof, shiny and mirror-like, worth about $2 to $5. Cameo, frosted design elements with mirrored fields, worth $10 to $15. Deep cameo, DCM strong contrast between frosted and mirror areas. A PR69 DCM can sell for $50 to $100. But here's the twist. Some 1979 S quarters show differences in the mint mark itself. There are two varieties. 1. Type 1, filled S. The mint mark appears blurry or filled in. This is the more common type. 2. Type 2, clear S. The mint mark is sharply defined and clearer. This variety is rarer and more desirable, with some PR69 DCM Type 2 coins selling for $100 to $150. If you have a 1979 S proof quarter, it's worth closely examining the S mint mark with magnification to determine if it's a Type 1 or Type 2. Known errors in the 1979 Washington quarter. While not as rich in dramatic mint errors as other years, there are still a few notable examples. Off-center strikes. Coins struck off alignment, especially with visible dates, can sell for $50 to $200. Clip planchets. Errors where the blank planchet was miscut, creating a visible bite in the coin's edge. Die cracks or cuds. Raised lines or blobs from broken dies. Values depend on severity. Double strikes, quarters that were struck more than once can fetch strong premiums, especially if the error is clear. These types of errors are usually found through coin roll hunting or in old bulk lots. They're fun to search for and offer strong resale potential for collectors. How to identify a valuable 1979 quarter. If you're trying to assess whether your 1979 quarter might be worth more than 25 cents, here are steps to take. 1. Check for mint mark. No mint mark equals Philadelphia. D equals Denver. S equals proof only. 2. Look at the condition. Worn? Its face value. Shiny, sharp, and no scratches? Consider grading. Next up, 1980 Washington $quarter coin. Some coins hide their stories in plain sight. The 1980 Washington quarter is one of those silent treasures that pass through millions of hands daily, but collectors know this unassuming piece of pocket change can carry unexpected value. While it's not made of silver or designed with flashy artwork, the 1980 quarter holds unique appeal, especially when found in pristine condition or with eye-catching mint errors. Whether tucked in your coin jar or handed to you as change, this common-looking coin could be a surprising addition to your collection. Let's explore why. The design of the 1980 Washington quarter remained consistent with its predecessors. On the obverse, it features a portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932. Above his head is the word Liberty, while "In God We Trust" is inscribed to the left, and the date 1980 is centered at the bottom. The reverse shows a powerful bald eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with 2 olive branches below. This classic patriotic image is surrounded by United States of America and $quarter. The 1980 Washington quarter was struck using a clad composition consisting of a pure copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel. These coins weigh 5.67 grams, measure 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and feature a reeded edge. After the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in quarters in 1964, all circulating quarters from 1965 onward, including the 1980 coin, followed this copper-nickel clad standard. Now, let's look at the 1980 Mint breakdown. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 635,832,000 coins. Denver Mint, D mint mark, 518,327,487 coins. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, 3,554,806 proof coins. 1980, P, Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Philadelphia produced over 635 million quarters in 1980, making it the highest mintage of the three. These are extremely common in circulation today, but there's value in high-grade examples. Circulated condition, face value, 25 cents. MS65, around $10 to $20. MS66, worth $40 to $75. MS67 and above, rare, can bring $250 to $600 plus. High-grade Philadelphia quarters are difficult to find because many suffered from weak strikes and poor handling during production. Finding one with full detail and clean surfaces is a worthwhile challenge for collectors. 1980, D Denver Mint. The Denver Mint struck over 518 million quarters in 1980, second only to Philadelphia. These coins tend to be slightly better struck than the Philadelphia issues, making high-grade examples a bit easier to find, but still collectible. Circulated, face value. MS65, worth around $10 to $15. MS66, can fetch $30 to $50. MS67 or higher, rare, valued around $200 to $500 plus. For both 1980 P and 1980 D, serious collectors prefer examples with strong luster, sharp detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's wings, and minimal bag marks. 1980 S, San Francisco Mint proof coin. The San Francisco Mint did not produce circulation coins in 1980, but issued over 3.5 million proof quarters. These coins were made using polished dies and specially treated blanks to produce ultra-detailed finishes. Standard proof, PR67, PR69 $2 to $5. Deep cameo proofs, DCM, $10 to $30. Perfect PR70 DCM, rare, value can range from $100 to $200 plus. Collectors seek deeply mirrored proof coins with frosted devices and clean surfaces. These coins are often found in original U.S. Mint proof sets. 1980 quarter errors and varieties. While not as widely known for errors as other years, 1980 quarters still offer some notable mistakes that can command excellent prices. Off-center strikes, visible blank areas from misaligned strikes. Value, $50 to $250 depending on degree and visibility of date. Double strikes, coins struck more than once can bring $100 to $300 plus. Clipped planchets, coins cut improperly, showing a curved missing section. Value, $30 to $100. Die breaks / cuts, raise blobs or cracks from worn dies. Value depends on size and location. Wrong planchet errors. If a quarter was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, it could sell for $500 to $2,000 plus. Always consider submitting potential error coins to grading services like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and maximize their value. Collector demand and investment potential. Even though 1980 quarters are post-silver, they're far from boring. Many collectors look for late 70s and early 80s coins as part of modern U.S. quarter sets, and mint errors from this period are especially hot among specialists. High-grade coins, especially those certified MS67 or better, are increasingly in demand due to their scarcity. Next up, 1986 Washington $quarter coin. Some coins may not shimmer in silver or glitter with gold, but they hold a different kind of treasure, one of nostalgia, hidden rarity, and potential profit. The 1986 Washington quarter is one of those modern-looking coins most people pass over without a second glance. But behind its familiar face, this coin has stories to tell about production quality, proof craftsmanship, striking errors, and collector intrigue. Whether it's resting quietly in a junk drawer or circulating in everyday change, the 1986 quarter can still surprise even seasoned numismatists. Today, we dive deep into what makes this coin worth more than just 25 cents. The 1986 Washington quarter continued the traditional design introduced in 1932. On the obverse, the coin features George Washington's profile, designed by John Flanagan. Above the portrait, the word Liberty arcs gracefully. To the left sits "In God We Trust," and below is the date 1986. On the reverse, an eagle with outstretched wings perches atop a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, representing strength and peace. United States of America encircles the top edge, and $quarter rests at the bottom. The composition is copper-nickel clad. This means a copper core with a copper-nickel coating. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge. No silver in circulation strikes here, but there's still value to be discovered. In 1986, quarters were minted at 2 facilities for circulation and 1 for collectors. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 551,199,000 coins. Denver Mint, D mint mark, 504,298,660 coins. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, 3,010,497 proof coins only. 1986, P, Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. This version came from the Philadelphia Mint and doesn't carry a mint mark. With over 551 million pieces struck, this quarter is very common in circulation. However, uncirculated or high-grade examples can still command solid prices from collectors, especially because many Philly coins from this era were poorly struck or suffered from dull surfaces. Circulated condition, worth face value, 25 cents. MS-65, mint state $10 to $20. MS-66, $30 to $60. MS-67 and above can reach $200 to $500 at auction due to scarcity in pristine condition. Collectors value 1986 P coins with a strong strike, minimal contact marks, and original mint luster. Most come dull, so well-preserved examples stand out significantly. 1986 D Denver Mint. The Denver Mint produced just over 504 million coins, identified by the small d to the right of Washington's ponytail. Denver strikes typically fare slightly better in terms of sharpness compared to Philadelphia coins, though contact marks remain common. Circulated, face value. MS-65, worth around $8 to $15. MS-66, values jump to $25 to $45. MS-67 and higher, rare, often selling for $150 to $400. For both the 1986 P and 1986 D, slab coins graded by PCGS or NGC tend to command higher prices, particularly for registry-set collectors chasing the best examples. 1986 S San Francisco Mint Proof Coins. Proof coins are struck with polished dies on specially prepared blanks, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and highly detailed features. These coins were not released into circulation. They were included in U.S. mint proof sets sold to collectors. In 1986, the San Francisco Mint produced just over 3 million proof quarters. These coins feature the S mint mark and are highly collectible. Standard proof, PR67, PR69 $2 to $5. Deep cameo, DCM strong contrast between frosted devices and mirror fields, worth $10 to $25. Perfect PR70 DCM, rare, values can range from $80 to $200 depending on demand. Collectors prefer deep cameo proofs with clean fields, sharp devices, and absolutely no spotting or toning. Known errors and varieties. Though 1986 quarters aren't particularly famous for dramatic errors, several minor issues and a few valuable finds have been documented. Off-center strikes, if the coin is misaligned and the date is visible, values can range from $50 to $250 depending on percentage of off-center area. Clip planchets, visible curve cuts or bites from the edge, due to miscut blanks, values vary between $30 to $100. Die breaks and cuts, raised lines or blobs from deteriorated dies are less dramatic but still collectible. Struck on foreign planchets, extremely rare. Coins struck on thinner or smaller planchets like 5-cent blanks can sell for $300 to $1,000 plus. Double strikes, especially those that show a visible second impression, often exceed $150. Next up, 1990 Washington $quarter coin. Every coin you handle has a journey. Some have traveled through decades, carrying both value and history. The 1990 Washington $quarter may appear ordinary to most, but collectors know there's more than meets the eye. Minted during a pivotal time just before the release of the popular state quarters program, the 1990 edition stands out for its quality, potential errors, and demand in high-grade condition. Whether you've got one jingling in your pocket or sitting unnoticed in your change jar, today we're going to explore everything that makes the 1990 quarter an interesting find for collectors and investors alike. The 1990 Washington quarter continued the traditional design introduced in 1932. On the obverse, we see John Flanagan portrait of George Washington. The inscriptions include Liberty at the top, In God We Trust on the left, and the date 1990 below. The reverse features a bald eagle perched atop a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, symbolizing both strength and peace. The coin is made of a clad composition consisting of a copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. Like all post 1964 quarters, it contains no silver. Let's explore the 1990 mintage breakdown. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 613,792,000 coins. Denver Mint, D mint mark, 927,638,181 coins. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, 3,299,559 proof coins only. 1990, P, Philadelphia Mint. With over 613 million coins struck, the 1990 P quarter is highly common in circulation. However, finding a high-quality uncirculated example is still a challenge due to average strike quality and heavy handling. Circulated condition, face value, 25 cents. MS-65, around $10 to $20. MS-66, worth $40 to $60. MS-67 and higher, rare, and can reach $250 to $500 plus. The real value lies in specimens that show sharp detail on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, with minimal marks and original mint luster. 1990, D, Denver Mint. The Denver Mint had the highest output for 1990, striking more than 927 million quarters. While the D mint mark coins are abundant, high-grade versions are harder to locate due to bag marks and average strike quality. Circulated, face value. MS-65, around $8 to $15. MS-66, up to $35 to $50. MS-67 or above, rare and can sell for $200 to $400. Look for crisp details in Washington's face and the eagle's wings, free from scratches and discoloration. Well-preserved coins from original mint rolls or sets have the best shot at top grades. 1990 S. San Francisco proof coins. These coins were never meant for circulation. Minted with polished dies and special planchets, they were included in official U.S. mint proof sets. Over 3.2 million were made in 1990, and they're prized for their mirror-like finishes and frosty raised designs. Standard proof, PR67, PR69 $2 to $5. Deep Cameo, DCM $10 to $25. Perfect PR70 DCM, rare and can be worth $80 to $200 plus. Collectors especially seek out deeply contrasted deep cameo proofs, which are more striking in appearance and visually impressive. 1990 quarter errors and varieties. Though not as error-rich as earlier decades, the 1990 quarter still has some interesting and valuable mistakes. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. If the date is visible, values range from $50 to $250. Clip planchets, a curved or straight section is cut off from the edge, worth $25 to $100. Double strikes, coins struck more than once during minting, often sell for $100 to $300 plus. Wrong planchet errors, coins struck on a nickel, penny, or foreign planchet, can exceed $500 to $1,500. Die cracks and cuts, raised lines or blobs on the surface from die damage, value depends on severity and interest. Collectors pay extra for certified and authenticated mint errors. If you suspect your coin is unusual, it's worth getting a professional opinion from NGC or PCGS. Grading and collectability. To evaluate the true value of your 1990 quarter, look closely at these grading factors. 1. Luster. Original mint shine increases eye appeal. 2. Strike quality. Full detail in Washington's hair curls and eagle's feathers is ideal. 3. Surface preservation. Fewer contact marks, scratches, or blemishes equals higher grade. 4. Color/toning. While not always desirable, attractive toning can add uniqueness. Collector interest and long-term value. While the 1990 quarter isn't made of silver or considered ultra-rare, it still holds value in specific conditions. High-grade, uncirculated and proof examples are steadily growing in demand, particularly among registry set collectors and those assembling complete quarter collections by year and mint.